We're live. Fat Bass Podcast.
Live, but not live.
Live, but not
Well,
live.
we're live whenever that person watches it.
Yeah, whenever you're watching it.
We are totally live.
Yeah.
August 4th,
All day long.
big announcement in August. Paying
Yes.
$500 first. Second's $100. Third's a t-shirt.
Third's a t-shirt.
And you won't
which
know what it'll say on the back.
is arguably the best prize of them all.
You know, I think they should just not take the 500 and 100 and just say they want the t-shirt.
Yeah, t-shirt. I agree
I
with you.
would, but
I agree with you. You probably don't. The viewers probably don't, but you know, but that was a huge thing. We decided that we saw, the subscriptions coming
substantial growth.
I mean, just insane growth. So no, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're excited that we're able to do that. We've been talking for a long time of like, hey, let's just not lose money, and we're finally not losing money. And as promised, we're not trying to make any money off of memberships and subscriptions. So
no, because we'd have paid out more if we had more in the pot. But
yeah,
it's all right.
So we got to think, long term and just making sure that we can do this and not just absolutely bankrupt us. Which an extra $500 out of my pocket next month might just bankrupt me. I don't know, but
I got your back. I got your 50. But
yeah. So, anyways, we'll get to more of that later. But we have the owner of Strike Force Fishing, Jay Beffa. How you doing?
Good evening, guys. How you guys doing? I'm doing good.
Well, I bet you are. We're sitting in an office and you're watching bass on Table Rock. So I think you've outnumbered us this time.
I think you win on that one.
Yeah, maybe so. It's a beautiful view here. I love coming out here. A buddy of mine, he lives here in Big Creek, and my day job is actually in the flooring business. I sell commercial flooring, so I cover 5 states, and he was actually a sales rep like I am, and he was actually one of my reps going back 40 years ago. And we've stayed in contact and always hunt and fish together. So it's been a good friend to have. And he's got a beautiful place here on Table Rock. So I get down here when I can.
Is the flooring business popping right now?
It's not too bad. I do a lot of K through 12 education schoolwork, and, it's kind of winding down from that with everybody going back to school. But, the window of opportunity anymore with school going so long, there's not much time to do the schoolwork anymore. So I also do a lot of healthcare and a lot of commercial spaces. So it keeps me busy having 5 states.
Are you talking about gym floors or just anything? Office?
Mostly, so people kind of miscategorize linoleum. A lot of times they call them vinyl linoleum. We are actually one of the only manufacturers that actually make true linoleum. So we make 90% of linoleum made in the world today. And then we have a couple other items to piggyback off of that, but do a lot of healthcare, a lot of education, and it keeps me busy with having 5 states.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
Yes. And then Strike Force, I wasn't smart enough just to have one job, so I decided to have 2 full-time jobs. And then on top of that, I'm a high school fishing coach, and we had a record year this year. We had 62 kids on the Festus fishing team, and I luckily got promoted to be the head coach of that. I don't know if it was a discipline act or if it was an honor to be the coach, but it's been fun. I really enjoy it.
Festus, that up there around St. Louis area? Is that where you reside?
Yep, we're just south of St. Louis. Unfortunately, it's the armpit for fishing. Pretty much anywhere, hour and a half, probably the closest good lake, and all the real good lakes, 3 to 4 hours away. So, yeah.
You got to be dedicated to it then.
Yeah, we are. The kids, we're having 62 kids on the team. It's like last night we had our year-end banquet. We gave away right at $15,000 in scholarships that we developed through the program ourselves on top of what they earned throughout the season. We budgeted everything around the National Youth Fishing Association, which they have 3 qualifying tournaments and then a championship. And the big reason I'm strongly involved is my grandson was eligible this past year. He's a 4th grader going into 5th now, and he had a really good year. So he is all about fishing. So he's as passionate, maybe a little bit more passionate than I was at that age, but he's doing really well. I got him skipping boat docks, and it's fun. It's real fun. Yeah.
So was that why you got into it, or were you into it before? Like
I've been an avid fisherman my whole entire life. So I had a friend that his work schedule came out and they did not allow him to get off in March and April. So he asked me to be his son's boat captain. And I don't know if you're familiar with the National Youth Fishing Association, but JP does an awesome job. And his son actually wanted to go into the military. So I think he earned I forgot what the number was, $6,000 or something throughout his fishing little high school career. And once he graduated from boot camp from the Marine Corps, they actually wrote him a check for that amount. I forgot what the amount was, but that was pretty cool. So any trade school, any college or university, or even military, they will actually write you a check of what you earned throughout that season.
Now, did your boys get the 15,000 the scholarships? That was through the National Youth.
No, that was actually so we actually developed our own scholarship program within our own team. We actually have our first angler this year going to fish college. So I don't think there's any full rides for college yet, but he is going to Blue Mountain Christian College down in Mississippi. So really cool kid. Hayden Duncan's his name, and I'm excited to see what he does. I mean, he is extremely passionate, and it's going to be exciting to see what they do because I think they're in the top 6 ranking right now. So he's going to a really good school. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. We only had, my boy and his partner, I think they had maybe 3 or 4 teams. Conway's pretty small. So I couldn't imagine managing 62 teams.
That's insane.
I wonder what I got myself. Yeah. I wonder what I got myself into sometimes. But after like last night, we had about $4,000 worth of product from, our various sponsors, Crappie Gator, E-Factor, Chompers, Cedar Falls Tactical, Dunn Sporting Goods. We had all them that we purchased product at a discounted rate and gave it to the kids last night. So, anytime we try doing that every meeting, not that dollar amount, but we give them a substantial amount every meeting. And it's just through fundraisers. We're just a club, so we're not affiliated with the school. So we're able to do like gun raffles and stuff like that. And we raised quite a bit of money doing stuff like that. But the support locally is unbelievable. Insurance company, paint companies, it's awesome.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. Whenever I was able to fish the National Youth Fishing Association, and I've seen it grow like crazy, and they do an amazing job. Now let's go all the way back. Let's go to your high school days. I mean, what would you give to be able to go back and and see that as almost a career choice now?
And I can't complain with the career that I had in the flooring industry, but owning Strike Force, I feel like, I should have been in the fishing industry. So, I love having a small company like this, and I've helped a lot of companies throughout my life, but it most likely would have been life-changing for me to have an opportunity to do something like that at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So you like a Bobby Knight coach, just right in their face, spit, sweat.
I haven't thrown no chairs yet, but it's been about that close a couple times.
Throwing some crates at them.
Actually, it's mostly the parents, like any sport, but no, it's it's good. After last night, I may have spelt a couple names on the jersey wrong, or left a sponsor or 2 out, and you just so much with so little time and everything that I have going on. When you look back at everything that you want to be better at, you look at situations like that after last night. I mean, it makes it well worth it. Super rewarding to see, what we can actually do with this program, and, relationships with fathers, sons, wives, moms, and their kids. I mean, we've changed. My text last night after we left the meeting, I had several texts that, just thank me for, doing what we do and giving them the opportunity, and how it's brought their family closer together, and kids actually thinking about going to college to fish now. So it's people don't realize that there's people give out scholarships for fishing, so it's neat to be involved with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and some of them kids, I'm assuming some of them don't have boats, that they have to jump. This is a sport that they can jump into and get to hang out all morning and night. I mean, some of them, what would they be doing?
That was an eye opener my first year when I started. We had some kids that didn't even own a rod and reel or a tackle box or anything. And here I came in with this tournament mentality that, I've been a big tournament fisher my whole life. And I came in with this mentality of being a tournament fisherman. And I'm like, man, I got to pull the reins back because I'm talking over half of these kids' heads. And, I got to get back to the fundamentals. And, that's probably my biggest regret is there's not enough time to work with them. And I want to do so much more for them. But, of course, my lifestyle, I don't know how I do what I do, but it's challenging. But, I want to have more practice. I want to, work with them on skills and techniques and so forth. And it's just hard to do when you get that little bit amount of time with them.
Well, Elon Musk says you only need 5 hours of sleep. So I don't know. You got plenty of
Come
time.
on, Jay. We got
I mean-
time.
I definitely need my sleep. You can ask my wife.
Well, let's talk a little bit while we're here. The smelliness in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of smelly in this room. I don't know why, but
I think he sprayed some of that Strike Force before he come in here. But did you just wake up one day like throw out some accident old cologne and
I know what it was. You watched Anchorman and decided that Sex Panther is man, I should put that on some baits.
It works all 50% of the time.
50% of the time, yeah.
It's like anything else. If you think there's a little niche, just start a fish attracting company and they will come out of the woodwork. I didn't realize there was that much competition, but the fishing industry is huge, so there's enough competition for all of us to share. And that's one thing that I'm really big on in the fishing industry. I mean, for example, there's a lot of companies that I've co-branded with, like Mike Hamilton was on here a couple months ago, and Big Bag Outdoors. They're a huge partner of mine. I co-branded with them. Bait Cave Customs, they actually infuse a lot of my scents into their baits. So they've been a huge partner of mine. And I have several other people that also do that. So, I believe in just there's so much divide in our industry these days, and I hate it, with the negativity and social media and so forth. And we all have the same purpose and the same interest. And I don't know why we're not, get along better, but it just, some of that just drives me crazy, but it's been fun. So the way it actually started is a lot of the relationships that I've developed in fishing for 40 something years, I built a big circle, and not only locally, but, just throughout the nation. Kentucky Lake, Ronnie Crutchlow actually owned it before. He owned several different companies in the Kentucky market. He had the Cabin Tackle Store, Slong Custom Baits, Charmer Baits, and then Strike Force. And Strike Force was one of the last things that he sold before he retired. And I just took it and ran with it and totally rebranded it. And I haven't looked back. It's been extremely fun to mess with. It's extremely rewarding, getting phone calls that someone wasn't getting bit. They sprayed it on. And, I had one guy in Missouri that caught a 10 1/4. So that's just super rewarding.
That was me.
Yeah, we know about it.
Then I had a young girl that came home for spring break, and she went fishing with her dad. They were crappie fishing. She was sitting in the back. Her dad and the guy with the boat was sitting up front live scoping, and she caught a 4-pound even crappie, and she had just sprayed the crappie scent on. So, it's just super rewarding. I love helping people, and, a lot of people can go to my Facebook page and look. A lot of times I'm taking kids. I've taken several kids from the fishing team fishing, and recently Hayden, the one that's going to college for fishing, we actually won a little tiny tournament not too long ago, and he had a blast. Just this past Saturday, I took another one of the kids, and he caught one almost 6. So, that was super fun. But we got second this weekend with big bass, and it's just so fun to see them and, their expression on I think scents are a big thing these days. I've always been a huge fan. The smelly jelly I was a big fan of that. Of course, Bang, I used that a lot in the past, but of course, since I bought Strike Force, it was very, very simple for me. Most of the formulas were already done. I, messed with some of them a little bit, but now I have 7 different formulas in the liquid and 3 in the gel. And I tell you, the gels have exploded. So it's been really fun to see that take off for being this time of the year. But got quite a few dealers nationwide, so it's been fun.
Does the gel just stick better, or is it a
Yeah,
mental thing?
I think it's messy, so I prefer the liquid, but a lot of people like the gel just because it stays on a little bit better and it's a little bit stronger. So, I have guys that crappie fish. One guy pulls cranks at Lake the Ozarks and he absolutely loves it. He rant and raves. He tells everybody and their brother about it. And he just has a ball with pulling cranks at Lake the Ozarks crappie fishing. So it's been fun, but I got a lot of customers in Florida even. And, of course, around Lake Okeechobee, I got 4 dealers. And, even in the wintertime, that's just a nice little income to have during the wintertime. So it's been awesome. I do not regret, and I do not regret spending long nights in the garage mixing it up. Of course, my wife, I really didn't think that through too well when I bought it and where I was going to mix it and so forth. So our garage smells really nice, and she's really impressed with the way it smells. So
You need to start selling those little squares that you put in the little scent candle
Oh, there you
holders that
go.
melt.
Yeah,
And then we can start playing a lot of pranks on our wives.
there you go. Ooh, I
actually,
really like this smell. We
Yeah,
put it in the melter.
this is Spawn and Bass mood right here. Gets you everybody in the mood.
I have a couple buddies that actually could have written the script for Impractical Jokers. And I really want to get some liquid fart spray and tell them it's a new formula that I'm trying and put in there.
That's an
Hey.
idea.
It worked for catfish, guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So you said you didn't really get too much into the mixing, but a little bit. Have you been into that world where it's interesting to how that process would even work, other than 80 different samples and everybody's going and smelling them like, yep, that one smells like shad. Yeah, it smells like crawfish. Like, do you know the behind the scenes part?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely mix it all. I'm doing special formulas. I got, a couple guys just want some custom scents. So I got a nightcrawler scent. I got a cricket scent. I'm working one right now with Gator, which I don't know if I should let that out of the bag yet, but I'm working with Gator. So it's going to be gator juice, I believe, if we can come up with the right formula. So I got like 5 different versions for them right now. So, I love co-branding with people and just working together in the industry. I mean, that's what we should all do. And it's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like in the bait world and everything. It's kind of like TVs. A Samsung makes Samsung TV. They make a BE TV, whatever it is. They make a ATV. Well, some people like the ATV because I'm not buying a Samsung. I hate Samsung. It's same stuff,
Yeah,
but you market it to different levels. And do you see like different areas in the country, like you said, Florida, that's a different scent?
definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Even in Missouri, from lake to lake, how I think it's just confidence in somebody's fishing ability, having a confidence in a bait or formula or whatever. But, the lakes that are a little bit more prevalent on shad, of course the shad's got to work really good, but shad definitely is my most universal. I got a guy down on North Fork. He's a striper guide and he absolutely loves the shad for that one. And he's done an excellent job of promoting it. I would say my second most universal is actually the crappie because it's actually shrimp and garlic. And of course, the Asian guys, have kind of streamlined that of the shrimp being a big bass formula. So guys here on Table Rock, they love the crappie formula, which is shrimp and garlic for smallmouth. And then guys even on Tanacomo and the White River are loving it for trout. So it's been interesting. You learn a lot from these shows too. A lot of people experiment more than what I think they do. The sleeper has been cappuccino. The coffee scent, it's basically a coffee scent. And of course, Strike King put that on the market and they quit making the aerosol bottles. So if you look on eBay, you'll find them for anywhere from 80 to $100. And of course, I have it in the 2 ounce for $10.99. But the cappuccino has been a very interesting one. When guys buy it, they just don't buy 1 to 2 bottles. And, that's probably my biggest drawback is it is an oil base, so it lasts for a long time. But I don't know if these guys that are hung on the cappuccino one, if they are drinking it or what, but they buy like 14, 15 bottles at a time every time. So
Yeah. And they use
yeah,
it for crappie and bass?
they use it for everything. Yeah, it's almost every one of them are multi-species. Bass is still my number one seller, which is crawfish and garlic. And then personally, I like the straight crawfish the best. I just had extremely good luck with it, but I do fish a lot of bottom baits more than anything. But it's been fun.
So tell me, I've never had somebody that's an expert on scent explain to me like what's that X factor. Is it that the fish holds on to it longer? Is it just a pure attractant? Like, talk to me about that.
I think different formulas actually have different characteristics. And of course, your garlics, anise, cappuccino, those are going to be more of just a blocker, more of a cover up scent to where, you're going to match the hatch with the shad, the crawfish, and the shrimp, which, in this area really doesn't make sense, but I think it's a different, Kitech uses squid in theirs, and I think it's just a different scent. And, they're just a little bit more attracted to it. So I think that's kind of the same factor as the shrimp. It's just something different. And the oil base, I feel like, it's very controversial if a water base or an oil base works. There's all kinds of studies, of course, the internet is flooded with negativity, and you can see where people say that the oil base is negative. It has a negative response. And then you can see the same thing about a water base, but it's really personal preference. I've been in certain situations where no matter if my partner fishing with me was in the front of the boat or the back of the boat, if I'm using Strike Force, I was definitely getting more bites than him. I mean, it was proven. He can come to the front of the boat and he wasn't throwing Strike Force. I was catching him in the back. And finally, after about a half day of that, he switched up and sprayed and started catching them one for one. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That's interesting.
Is yours oil based and
mine,
water?
no, mine's strictly oil based. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty ignorant to the debate there between, water based, oil based, without, dividing the entire Fat Bass Challenge, audience. But tell me the biggest reason why you went oil based.
The oil base, the formulas were already done from the previous owner, but from my studies, the oil base leaves more of a trail to where the water base disperses around the bait. So, most of the time you're moving the bait, so you want actually a trail, I believe. So it's really just personal preference. But even on hard baits, I feel like Scott at Lake of the Ozarks, crappie fishing, pulling cranks, he puts it on the bill of the crankbait and he feels like the scent of it comes down the side of it and leaves a trail to where they can actually track it, to where the water base is going to disperse into the water column. So a lot of times you're moving it, you don't want it disperse. Well, I'm not going to argue that one's good or one's better. I don't like doing that with other products, but that I feel like the oil base is very, very strong. I mean, it stays with the bait, even on a hard bait. The first month that I bought it, it's been a year and 5 months now, and I couldn't wait to get out in the water and try the shad formula on a jerk bait. And I sprayed down the jerk bait, and I couldn't believe how long it stuck with that jerk bait, cast after cast after cast. So it was super interesting. I really started digging into it. There's been a lot of college programs that have actually done studies on it and showing how effective the oil base is. So, either way, I don't feel like there's a wrong choice. I mean, the biggest thing today is, I believe, is mostly a cover scent with the pressure that we have out there. You're getting rid of the human odors from gases to just the human odors that your body produces. They get used to that stuff. And I think that's the biggest thing. And if you can match the hatch, you're taking that to a whole new level.
Well,
So
your fingers got oil on them. So every time you rub it on a jig, and Pierce loves on one, so you really got to dose it down with something to get
I
his scent off of there.
I have always wondered something, and I know that you probably get these questions all the time, but I don't care. I'm going to ask it. I used to fish with Russ McBurney, who smoked, and he'd be in the front of the boat just whacking them, and I'd be in the back of the boat throwing the exact same thing, not touching them. I know you fish with Rich
Yeah,
Woodard,
it's
and he was smoked, and he'd whack him in the front of the boat, and you'd suck in the back of the boat.
well, and
We talked about this all the time.
I've talked to a buddy, the same thing. There's one or two things I think they smoke, and it takes their oil off their hands, like something like almost like a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a buddy, he'd hand me his rod and reel and go, here you go, and sit down, light one up. 10 minutes later, I was like, no, here you go. Well, you got a 4-pounder. I'm like, so have you ever heard of that? The
There's gotta be
nicotine.
I've heard so many things owning a scent company. I mean, it's crazy what people use. Some guy tried telling me that he took his wife's Victoria's Secret's perfume and he was using it. And not only did it work as a fish attractant, but it also kept the insects off him, mosquitoes from biting him. So he sprays it. He actually has a bottle in his glove box. And every time I'm with him, I get this mail. My wife probably doesn't think I'm fishing because I come home smell like Victoria's Secret's perfume, but
Yeah. Hey, Jay, we sure you went fishing today.
Yeah, that could get you in trouble.
Sure.
he swears by it. So I've heard all kinds of stuff. You know, the old school guys, of course, anise, I think, was one of the first scents out there, which is a licorice scent. And you wouldn't believe how many guys used to use WD-40 back in the day.
I was gonna ask you the WD-40 thing because
Yeah.
I heard that not too long ago that came back around the social media that sprayed it with WD-40. But it's an oil based, right? WD-40.
It is. Yep, it is.
There you go.
You know, I think the biggest thing, Taco Ito, the Bassmaster Elite guy, he actually has a video out where he actually has a whole system, which I'm getting to that point where I actually, and hopefully we'll have a system soon. He actually takes baits and he'll soak them for months on months, and he'll soak them in an oil base. And then actually he gets the Nori's bite powder and he actually basically batters his baits in a powder, and then the powder will disperse into the water column. So we've been working on one, and I'm not quite 100% confident on the formula that I have now. Kyle Hopping and Michael Hamilton both have versions of it right now. They're testing, but I just want it to be a little bit better. I just want it to be a little bit more sticky than what it is right now. So we're actually working on a whole entire system. So you'll have the liquid formula, you'll have the gel, and then you'll have a powder. And then I have little containers that you can actually mix them in. I think that's the biggest thing right now is, you know, capitalizing on your opportunity and letting those baits soak to once you get out there on the water, you don't have to mess with the spray. The spray doesn't get all over your boat and so forth, or in your partner's face when the wind's blowing or whatever. I let mine soak and it maximizes the scent.
Yeah. Look at that. I had a question.
I know.
Are you looking into the powder for? Because
Yes.
I heard something about the powder, so I didn't I heard it, but not to the level you said. They soak it and then they put it in the powder,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It's a batter. I do that with chicken.
Well, too much.
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
But yeah, I had that question. Are you working on a powder formula?
You know, I've learned a lot about that, but just the ingredients, I'm up to 6 different ingredients right now, which most of the liquid and the gel formula, I only have 3 ingredients in those. So with the powder right now, I'm up to 6 different ingredients. I mean, it's intense. It's a little bit over my pay grade. So I do have a buddy that's a bioengineer helping me a little bit on that. And, you know, I didn't really think about a lot of the things like anti-mold. The powder will mold, so you have to have an anti-mold agent, and then it will cake and gets real clumpy, so you have to have an anti-clump agent as well. So, you know, that's things I really wasn't expecting, but, you know, I'm learning. So it's been interesting to mess with, and I've never been that intelligent of a guy, so this is probably above my pay grade.
That's probably the new scent, mold.
Mold.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rock mold.
Nice. Come to my house, man. I'm sure we got it somewhere. So
Yeah, and I used to soak my bait, not for months. I'd be curious how he keeps rust off of his, like a jig. Like, how do you keep rust off your hook? Other
I
than
think most
putting
of his plastics, most of the time that he's doing, you know, that
yeah.
when you watch the video, he's got like them pancake looking baits that he won Lake Erie or Lake St. Clair on, I think it was. But there was that pancake style looking plastic bait. Yeah, it was interesting. Really cool.
Yeah, I figured a lot of people soak their baits and stuff like that. The powder, I really didn't hear much about.
No, I hadn't heard about that
very
at all.
like that
that's
was
news to me. But of course, again, I'm kind of stupid when
Ah,
it comes to the scent.
That's the only thing I'm a little nervous about. I mean, to do the effort that I'm putting forth on the powder, you know, it is going to be a very small percentage of fishermen that's actually going to take the time to do that system. So I think it's just going to be an added benefit for me, but I don't think I'm going to retire off of it.
I mean, I assume if you market it to that level of, I mean, look at the Koki. I mean, the Koki urchin bait that caught a lot of fish, but I don't know, if something new like that comes out, if it's marketed, people just buy it. I bought, how do you pronounce it? The
Yeah,
anise scent?
I call it a niece.
Anise. There you go. Yeah, it's not how I say
Yeah,
it, but
okay.
anise.
Whatever you say.
I bought like 14 packs because Denny Brower used to have some. I think it was by Mustang. I still have like 8 of them left. I mean, is there a lifespan of scent?
Now, being an oil base, one thing that I did, the previous owner actually had it in plastic bottles. So I went with aluminum bottles and they're epoxy lined. So being oil, it's never going to break down. Some of the bait makers, they do have to be careful because oil will burn. So a lot of times they're heating up their bait to like 360, 380. So, they could burn the oil. So they have to wait until the cool down period to add it in. So that's important. Being an oil base, it will burn. So otherwise, the shelf life, I mean, pretty cool. When I bought the company, I had a couple really close friends that were like, man, I got that original bottle. Let me go find it. Well, and Ryan went out to his garage and he found it. And of course, the bottle was cracked. And he goes, that's what's been smelling in my garage for the last 3 months.
I thought it was just my feet.
Yeah, no, I thought I had a problem. I went to the doctor. Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah, it's
good.
been fun.
Well, I have one more question for you before we get out of here, and it's a very important one. If you had 3 different setups for you to fish the rest of your career, your tournament career, what baits, what rods, what reels are you using? What setups are you using? 3 only.
I'm not really particular about my rod and reel setup. I'm pretty simple. And I think over time I've developed that, but I would definitely have some type of shaky head with a worm on it. I like skipping boat docks and flipping around boat docks. I caught a ton of big fish doing that. That's probably my favorite way to fish. And then I'm a big spinnerbait guy. I love spinnerbaits. I'm really good friends with Justin and Jessica own E Factor. I've been friends with them for a long time and I love a spinnerbait. And then I would have to say some type of tough top water. And I won a really big tournament. I won a Bass Nation tournament at Toledo Bend, and it was the regional tournament. And the first day I was in 6th place. The second day I dropped all the way to 16th. The 16th was the last place in to make the third day. I made the third day and I was super disappointed at what I caught on the second day. And my wife said, honey, you need to just say a prayer and go fishing. So I was making a super long run every day. And I said, you know what? You're right. So I tied on a Chapo and I went looking for Missouri type banks and I pulled up on a rocky bank and caught 2 6-pounders in the first 15 minutes. And I told my co-angler, I said, I'm sorry, bud, but we're going to flip some boat docks and it's a long run. And they told me not to do it if the wind's blowing, and the wind's blowing. So we ended up going up there and I had the biggest bag of the tournament with just shy of 20 pounds and end up winning the whole entire deal by 7 pounds. So the Chapo has a place in my heart. So
Yeah.
All right.
And what you're fishing a benefit tournament this weekend, is that right?
now actually that's October. Well, October. So I have a buddy that lost his son to Rett syndrome. And this is our 9th year of hosting this tournament at Lake the Ozarks. And this year it's October 10th and 11th at Red Oak. And we cut it off at 100 boats. We feed everybody. It's all you can drink and eat on Friday night. And then all you can drink and eat on Saturday night. We have an awesome auction going right now. You actually could bid to fish with Michael Harlan, who made the Bassmaster Classic this year. You can bid to fish with him in the tournament. So, unfortunately, we lost Dion last year. He was the guest speaker. He was the MC for the tournament for the last several years. So he was a big supporter of the tournament. But man, it's just a good time for a good cause. And, every year, this is our 9th year, we feel like we need to top last year. So, just trying to increase what we bring in. Last year, we was just shy of $90,000 that we brought in. So, it's, you see some of these other ones that bring in, $100,000 for these charity tournaments. And I know how hard we work on it, and seeing what they do versus our 90, it's like, we got to get better. We got to do something better. We got to do this. We got to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do
it's
you is there a Facebook page or anything for the tournament?
the Warrior William Project. Yes.
Warrior William. Okay.
Yeah, let's get you to six figures. I like it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
like it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're capped at 100 boats, all you can eat and drink Friday night
And Saturday night.
and Saturday night. Let's go.
Yeah.
Also a 2-day tournament.
No, it's just a 1-day tournament, but we have a pre-meeting on Friday night and everybody just gets together. I mean, Jack Uxa comes, he bought Bass and Bob here recently. So he changed it to Ozark Fishing Intel. So he comes and speaks. Michael Harlan will speak. Sometimes we get Andy Newcomb and a couple guys like that. Lawson will speak. But a lot of the local bait manufacturers, they all participate in it and donate product and prizes. One thing that, when I first started fishing 40 years ago, and I did like Super Bass Tournament Trail back in the day, and Anglers in Action and Bass World Sports and things like that back in the day, we got a gift package just for entering the tournament that was phenomenal, just to start, feel like you won before you even entered the tournament. I mean, we got a bag of goodies that, went a really long way, from line to all kinds of different baits. So we tried doing that this tournament. We've had Procter and Gamble throw in the past, Andy Seasoning, a lot of different companies like that. And we put together a goodie bag for giveaways, and, it's pretty cool. Last year, I actually did a special scent for the tournament. The kid that passed away, his name was William Aubuchon. So I called it Willie's Juice, and it was a squid and a garlic. And I did it in the Rett syndrome, which is a purple ribbon. So we had the purple ribbon on it. And I'll probably do something like that again this year, but it's just good for a good cause and a good time. I mean, you can't be around that many fishermen and not have a good time, and everybody gets along. And it's such a positive tournament for an excellent cause, for the worst case situation that anybody can be in a life situation.
And usually benefit tournaments, there's not drama, like you said. They're just
No,
fun.
it's just
Guys,
fun.
there's no pressure. It's just, hey, let's go out here, we'll have fun. Is it dads and daughters can fish, two
Yeah.
adults, or how do you set that all up?
Yeah, it's two people per boat. We have a lot of the anglers, the youth anglers that come and fish with their dads. We have a lot of couples that fish, fathers and daughters. I mean, it's all types. I mean, it is awesome to see. Every year, it's just the return that we get and the people that show up to support it. It's amazing.
Good
I
deal.
love it. Yeah, let's get you to six figures. So where can they can find you on the Facebook. They can sign up on your Facebook page.
Yeah, they'll actually go to the website and there's a
Okay.
link. It looks like that you're signing up just one person, but it's actually a team when you sign up. The entry fee is $200. And like I said, you get fed, all you can drink and eat on Friday night and Saturday night, a ton of giveaways. And then also we have a silent auction. So it's a cool event.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And where can they get the Strike Force formula?
I have it in several dealers, a lot of dealers in Missouri, anywhere from M&H Outdoors, Extreme, down this area, the Conoco station over by the dam here at Table Rock. Of course, Fitz's Tackle, Eggert's Outdoors, pretty much any dealer in the Midwest. And then I have a lot of out-of-state dealers as well. I think I'm in like 28 states right now. So shipping quite a few products all over the place. And it's been an interesting summer. I usually get to breathe a little bit in the summertime. Well, this is really my first full year of doing it, but I get to breathe a little bit in the summertime and enjoy summer a little bit. But this year has been busy, and the gel has helped, progress those sales big time. So it's been very interesting.
Well, like you say, Michael's used it. Andres Jackson, he mentioned
Yeah.
it too. So
Yeah,
yeah, we're starting to hear a little bit of buzz
Yeah.
about it. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
definitely. Yeah. And hopefully we can do something, what we talked about this morning. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take the million at this point. We'll give
Yeah.
away some, guys. Oh yeah, let's keep talking. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll look forward to future partnerships as well and go
Yeah.
from there. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And then if I can help you guys with the kids part of it, if I can get some of them involved, and them little spoiled brats, they've been catching more big fish than I've ever caught in my life. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My boy will just ask you to try to teach him live scope. That's all he's going to say.
Yeah.
I can't teach him. Can't catch one.
I think I'm in trouble tomorrow because mine's broke right now. So we're gonna old
Yeah.
school.
Get that Chapo.
Yeah, probably the
Right.
wrong place to be broke at, but
You right? Why don't you run up? Is that up the river area where you're at?
this is Big Creek up by Shell Knob.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what
But we're
arm.
actually taking out of Mill Creek tomorrow.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, so we've
Cool.
been down by the dam. I think it's like a 45-minute drive from here, which it's all right. Got a good view tonight. Getting ready
There
to
you
grill
go.
up some hamburgers. So
All right.
Sweet. Let's go.
yeah,
Okay.
appreciate you guys, and
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
yeah, looking forward to the future.
Sounds good,
Absolutely.
Jay.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.